Hello, welcome to STH English. Let me run a video for you and I can tell you what the video is all about. On the screen that you are watching now, you are looking at the Operation Commander Colonel Muhammad Tahir, who is explaining what all happened on 10th of November. And the details are gory and scary. He said that five Afghan Khawarij, the description that Pakistan uses for a mix of TTP and Afghan-sponsored terrorists using Afghan soil to infiltrate Pakistan, attacked Cadet college Wana. Now, I have been to this Cadet college when it was being founded practically, and I sat there in two of its classrooms at that particular point in time and spoke to a couple of cadets. Now, it's a wonderfully robust organization. And when the attack took place, there were about 543 students who were in the hostel. So the colonel is explaining what the plan of the terrorists was. They blew up the front gate and entered the premise, and then they were nailed down for crucial half an hour or so by the security guards. Both those guards were martyred. And then they moved into the admin block. The admin block was some distance from where the hostel was, where the students were. And because of the timing of this incident, they thought that they will have a free run to the hostel, but they didn't know that they will find resistance. So when they were pinned down in the admin block, the remaining security guys came in there and they also suffered some casualties, but didn't allow the terrorists to take position inside the admin block to neutralize whatever challenge was made to them from around the Cadet college, and then sent some of their persons into the hostel. The aim was to take hostages, make hostages of the students. So that was the main plan. And then additional help was called, and the help arrived, and these terrorists were holed up in that admin block. You also are looking at the testimonies of the students, what they were doing at that particular point in time, and I'm sure many of them must have had some very tense moments, recalling. Some of them probably were not even born then, but they must have read about it when the APS incident took place, or they were very young at that particular point in time. So the students' testimonies actually speak of the activity that was going on and also the thoughts that they had around that time. And it's very interesting that they are talking about threat to Pakistan, but at the same time they also see this as an attack on their ability to make the best use of their great lives. So it's not just an attack by terrorists trying to send a message out to the world that they have access to places like the Wana Cadet College. It's also an attempt from the cadets' point of view to undermine and scuttle their plans to make the best use of their life and get educated and harness the talent that is given to them. So in the end, when the forces arrived, students had to be evacuated, staff had to be evacuated. Altogether, about 600 plus people had to be evacuated. Not a single casualty on that count, which is a great thing to report. And then all the 5 plus terrorists were killed. The pictures are too gory for me to show you, but these guys were heavily loaded. Some of the videos showed them moving into the admin block, and these guys were constantly talking to their handlers inside Afghanistan, which is both audacious, stupid, and at the same time tells you the linkages. Because those operating from the Afghan soil do not want to even create a camouflage around their activity. So when they put these guys in the field, they give them communication network, and these guys use this communication network to talk to them, which essentially means that they don't care about who's listening and who's not. And this border is monitored. Pakistan is digitally hawk-eyed about this border. So there's, the conversations were picked. The videos were also being made. You can only imagine that these guys are moving and they're filming themselves, filming their activity. So in a way, it's a situation where the fig leaf is not even being put up. It's a situation where pretenses are not even in order. So it's bare-knuckled now. That's the point I'm trying to make. So it was a bare-knuckled attempt to create an element, an environment of fear, and show how ineffective security forces are that they can't even protect their own children. The reverse happened. Security forces were on the money, they were on the ball, they didn't drop the ball at all, and they were able to neutralize the threat. 500 kilometers from Wana was Islamabad, where seemingly a lone ranger representing, as per the initial assessments and endorsements and claims made, was representative of Jamaat al-Ahrar, a faction of TTP, which created its own identity but re-emerged into TTP and used to be based out of some areas in ex-Fata, Mohmand and Bajor bordering areas, and now back in Afghanistan. So these guys accepted the responsibility. They sent in a lone ranger into a judicial complex who detonated himself. He was wearing a suicide vest. I went to the site. I saw what happened there, and I can tell you, having covered these areas for a very long time, these incidents for a very, very long time, too long a time for my peace of mind, I'll be honest with you. But that's part of the job. And I could tell at that particular point in time that it was not the motorbike that was rigged. Actually, he was wearing a suicide vest. So he wanted to probably move into the courtroom and explode himself over there in order to create even a bigger news. But he was stopped at the gate. And 12 people were killed, 37 were injured. So from Wana to Islamabad, the message seems to be that we have access and we are going to go wherever we want to go. Of course, there will be a response which is going to go beyond the border, and the infrastructure has been marked. People have been encircled. So they are in the bullseye of Pakistan security forces. But the message that they're trying to send out is that we are going to now be retaliating in our old way of sending in suicide bombers. In Islamabad, this was the largest attack since the Marriott attack in 2008. I think it was September. About 52 people were killed, about 225 or 50 odd people were injured. So Islamabad has been very calm and poised and returning to its normal ways in the past decade plus. But since 2008 to 2025, not much happened by way of terrorism. This is the first incident. So they are trying to shatter the peace in Islamabad. And I'm also looking at some of the social media posts by people who are not exactly friends of Pakistan, have very bad history, talking about these guys going into Lahore as well. So you see a big network of terror that is being exported to Pakistan. Sleeper cells are being reactivated. Pakistan has to do more than simply battle it back and also knock out the infrastructure. My own take is that Pakistan has made communication error by emphasizing too much of the bilateral side of this issue. Yes, it is a bilateral issue. It is our border. Terrorism affects our people. Those who come from across the border in the shape of immigrants, and they are now being sent back. Our headache. Trade-related issues are our headache. Cross-border smuggling is our headache. Yes, it is all of that. But what is happening inside Afghanistan is not just a bilateral issue. It is not just a regional issue even. Pakistan's narrative has to shift or has to become a double-barrel narrative. One barrel focuses on what's happening between us and Afghanistan, mediation by Turkey and Qataris included. And the other barrel has to focus on the global threat that Afghanistan's territory is becoming. So Pakistan narrative has to go beyond its bilateral issue with Afghanistan and wake up the world that you have the potential elements of another 9/11 taking shape inside Afghanistan. You know, who's who of the terrorism world is sitting there. These guys operate freely. They are heavily funded. So while the West needs to focus on Ukraine and Middle East and all that, there is a threat that is emerging, which is not just Pakistan specific. It is going to affect the region. It is going to affect the world as well. So before another global event happens out of Afghanistan, Pakistan needs to wake up the world. So I think that's where we need to use the second barrel of our argument more effectively. Tell the world that while you think that it's a bilateral issue, it really isn't a bilateral issue. Soon enough, it will spread to your countries. This will become a hub of terrorism export, and you will remain alert only if you respond to it at this particular point in time. And that also puts, that's my last point, that also puts Pakistan in a very important position as a bulwark against a potential threat that is going to destabilize the region and also has global implications. The Prime Minister, speaking at the Interparliamentary Speakers Conference yesterday, made some references to it, and these references are also found in Foreign Office spokesperson's weekly briefs. But we haven't spoken enough about it, and we haven't really marketed this argument effectively enough. It's time that we did that, because that's not just a marketing gimmick. That's what the reality is. When you have so much of terror, so much of networking, so much of organized criminal gangs together in a lawless land, the inevitable result is that it's going to go beyond borders. So Pakistan is protecting its border, but Pakistan is also a bulwark against a potential threat to the region and to global peace. That's the kind of argument that we need to make and send the message across important capitals in the world that it is not just our battle, we're also battling for you.